ready for today. Got some pen and paper with you to write any notes down, and I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, let's get into it. First off, we'll do a acknowledgement of country. 30-foot drop acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and the community. We pay our respects to the Indigenous people, their cultures and beliefs, to both elders past and present. Funding. 30-foot drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities, Disability Services for funding this and many other initiatives. Without their support, so many projects such as 2 Wise Monkeys would not see the light of day, and we would be much more poorer for it as a community. This workshop is part of the Realities and Advantages Access Inclusion Grant awarded to 30-foot drop as part of an Information, Linkages and Capacity Building Grant for 2018 and 2019. Okay, housekeeping. Unfortunately, we do not have all the resources to monitor all of our live streaming platforms. So if you have any questions or want to interact with me, you can head over to our website, which is under the video, www.30footdrop.com.au/live. Go into the live box and then the chat box, and you will be able to write anything you like in there. Doesn't matter if it's nothing to do with what I'm speaking about today. Anything you want to ask, just go ahead. So we'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time. So we ask everyone that's watching if they could take actions to minimize any distractions. Also, if you could tag 30-foot drop in any social media posts if you talk about us today. If you tag anyone, could you please just tag us in those posts and share. The more information we can get out there, the better. And if you know anyone that might be interested in these workshops, please invite them to our page, share the videos with them. It's really good if we can help some of these people find work and employers looking for people to employ. We just feel that these messages are so important and that they just need to get out there for more people to be working. We'll also be recording the session, so if you want to go back and watch it again, you can watch it again through the recorded post, which will be available on YouTube, 30-foot drop Vimeo library, and also Facebook. So if you miss anything, you can re-watch this again. Okay, all of the research spoken about today is also available on our website under our resource library. So if you want to look at more in-depth information, you can head over to our website and look up all the information we've got there. There's so much to read and so much interesting information. It'd be really awesome if you could have a look at that too. At the end of the webinar, we would love it if you guys could fill out the survey that we have. Just hit tapping in part 2, and there's about 5 or 6 questions. You just need to click yes or no, and any feedback for us is really good. Okay, so your wise monkeys. I am one of your wise monkeys. I am Lisa, and I am see no evil. Sorry, hear no evil. Ben is see no evil. Just by looking at me, you probably can't tell what I may suffer from. Through me, you will realise that you will hear no evil about impairment. My story is definitely a more hidden one. At the age of 8, I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia. Teachers used to hit me on the head, read out my low marks, and yell at me in front of my classmates. Why don't you understand what's wrong with you, making me feel completely dumb and unworthy? But I was determined to prove all of these teachers wrong, and very stubborn. So I did as well as I could with little extra help along the way. And I found my passion of art at about 13. So it just shows you that no matter what's going on, if you have a learning disability or a disability, You will always have something that you love doing or that you're good at, so you've just got to find that passion and go with it. You'll eventually find it. And once you do, you can prove all these people wrong. I have multiple diplomas in the arts field, one in counselling, and at present I own my own photography business. If you want to check it out, it's Lisa Hall Creative. So, Ben is the other wise monkey. He is see no evil. He's not here today. I think he's back tomorrow night on Tapping In Part 3. So I will let him tell you his story. So mine is more hidden, his is more apparent. Both different stories, but I'm sure most of you can relate to this watching. Okay, so isn't there supposed to be 3 wise monkeys? Where is speak no evil? Who is it? You guys can take a guess at who that is. You guessed it, it's you. The aim of today's workshop is to turn you into a wise monkey. You will begin on the journey of realising that, impairment or not, we are all human and deserve to be treated equally and fairly, the same as anyone else. Such an important message. So, outline and method of how we work. How are we going to get you started on the path of the wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with disability impairment and how to employ these amazing people in your business. First up, we're going to look at the disability employment service providers, what they are and how they can help your business. After that, we will go through 5 tips on how you can prepare your business to employ these people with a disability or impairment. To finish up, we'll have an open forum session, so a chat session where you can ask any questions. And also, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to jump in the chat box and send a question. So how are we going to cover all this? What will our teaching method be? The answer is fun, experience, and open, honest discussion. The more open we can be about these kind of conversations, the more comfortable people are going to feel, and the more our word can get out. You'll notice that there's very little written content on the slides. That's because we're all here to interact with each other, and it just makes it easier for people to understand what's going on without having too much information to try and read and catch up on. So next is a terminology review outline. To reduce confusion and ensure understanding, I want to review some of the terminologies that I'll be using today. First up is the difference between disability and impairment. An impairment is an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss of psychological or physiological function. In short, an impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical diagnosis is that I have mild dyslexia. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level as everyone else. It is, as the word implies, something that disables you to access somewhere or participate in something. So an example of that for me would be that too much wording, too much complex information, or sometimes a stylized script could make it hard for people with dyslexia or a learning disability to understand, which means it's hard for us to get the right information we need to use your service. So businesses need to bear in mind that because some of us have hidden disabilities, that if you have too much complex information, that some people may just walk away from that because it's too complex and they don't understand. So it's something to remember on your websites and in your blogs and such. Anyway, I hope all that makes sense. The next is the difference between access and inclusion. Unfortunately, quite often this is referred to as being one word, but it's actually not. Access refers to the removal or reduction of physical barriers to participate in activities and functions in the community. At its core, access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and can be accessed with checked off with a checklist. Inclusion is a more psychological state of being and is the process whereby every person, irrespective of their age, sexual preference, gender, religion, and nationality, who wishes to can fully participate in all activities and services in the same way as anyone else in the community. Inclusion makes sure that inclusion is, as the word implies, that the person feels included to take part in activities in the community. That person needs to feel included and welcomed into the community. So hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions, just head over to the chat box. Follow the link below this video, www.30footdrop.com.au/live. Okay, let's get into today's session, how to employ people with impairment. Disability employment services, what are they? Disability employment services help people with a disability find and keep a job. Providers of disability employment services are called DES providers for short. Through DES providers, people with a disability, injury or health condition may be able to receive assistance to prepare for, find and keep a job. How awesome is that? And who here listening had no idea about a DES provider? DES providers also are a mix of large, medium and small for-profit and non-for-profit organisations that are experienced in supporting people with a disability, as well as aiding employers to put in place practices and support needs for these employees in the workplace. So if you're having trouble finding work, please contact your local DES provider or have a look on our website for more information and resources. These DES providers can help you find the job which suits your needs. Okay, let's have a look how DES providers are funded. DES providers are funded by the government. Providers receive payments for helping participants find and maintain work. Payments are structured so that providers earn more funding when they place more people into lasting employment. Great incentive. And because of this earning more funding when they place people in long-lasting employment, it ensures that the DES providers make the best possible match. Okay, services. These three services are job matching, role creation and support. Now we'll just go through these three services. So first up is job matching. How do DES providers make sure they find the right match? It's all about understanding both parties. The DES provider is the link between these two. The DES provider will help the job seeker candidate with career history and aspirations. They will understand the person's barriers and help work with those. They will work with the employee by exploring their qualities and capabilities. They will also help get the candidate job ready through work experience, training and volunteering, making sure the candidate is as job ready as they possibly can be. DES provider and business. DES providers will help the employee and the employer understand the new employee's business needs, describe and discuss both business dynamics, and create a role that is suited to the employee. Okay, where do these clients come from? DES providers are not forced into employment. So in saying this, you haven't got someone that doesn't want to be there. They are already actively looking for a job through their DES provider. They come to the DES provider in a number of ways, and these are through word of mouth, self-referral following a discussion with a team member, friend or family member, self-referral from exposure to advertising, social media platforms, referral from a health professional, community agency or school, referral from Centrelink or another government agency, community talks, community help desks and pop-up shops, discussions with health and community agencies and schools, employment forums and expos. So there's a lot of places where you can get the information, and a lot of these places will know about how you best can move forward with finding a job and contacting the DES providers. Okay, next up is role creation and job carving. What is this? It's all about improving the business's efficiency, finding tasks that can be done and fulfilled by people that are less qualified, allowing more qualified people to continue with the job. Okay, so an example of this is there are 4 mechanics employed at a workshop. They spend at least 30 minutes each day cleaning up the workshop. During this time, they are not creating profit and costing a total of 2 hours wages at a full mechanic's rate. Employing someone to come in for 2 hours a day at a lower rate will allow the mechanics to continue generating profit and gives this other person a job. How amazing would it feel as a business owner to employ someone that really, really wants that job and that chance, and how beneficial for you would it be that you save time and money by employing this person, but then also the person with the qualifications is still creating profit for your business. So if you're looking for that right person, check out who your local DES provider is. I noticed the other day in the Good Guys, they had a guy in a mobility scooter working there, and I thought to myself, what an inclusive company. They've done exactly what we're trying to do here. They've employed him, he was happy at the job, he was helping customers, and it just works both ways. Why not do it? Let's look at support. As well as job matching and role creation, DES providers also offer the following free services: candidate support and application assistance. DES providers support their candidates in their role by regular on and off site visits where they ensure the candidate continues understanding the employer's expectations and needs. They also look for any requirements for assistive technologies for both parties. They monitor developing requirements to maintain performance for the employee. They deal with any questions swiftly. They deal with any questions swiftly, and most DES providers will be contactable outside of the office. Sorry, I missed that slide. So the DES providers are there for support for both the employee and the employer. If there's any concerns, you can ring up the DES provider, have a chat to them on what needs you may help, whether you need extra funding with modifications to the business, and to ensure that the employee is understanding the needs of their job. So it's really good to have that support person for both parties. So, application support. DES providers will also provide the free assistance for the following applications. So they will help with wage subsidies, workplace modifications through job access. Both of these subsidy sources were covered in Tapping In Part 1. And if you missed that yesterday, then you can watch it again in another week and a half, or you can go over to our YouTube page or our Facebook page or Vimeo library on our website and watch yesterday's Tapping In Part 1. So how to get started. Get in touch with your local DES provider in your town or region. Provide them with the required information. Employ a matched candidate. The DES provider will gather the required information for starting and organising an employee. Fill out all the paperwork and any other requirements in order to proceed with the employment. That's pretty amazing that they do all that stuff. So you're not having to worry about filling all this paperwork out. And sometimes filling all the paperwork out and all the organising is actually what puts employers off. So this is most probably why they're doing it, so that these people are given a chance. You as an employer don't have to do anything. The DES providers will take care of it all. All you need to do is find a role for these people and it's done. Okay. Preparing your business. So now that you have committed to employing someone with a disability, what's next? Here are 5 tips to get you started and ensure your new employee reaches their full potential. So we're just going to go through these. Candidate support. As with all hiring, it's important to get the right match. A person's disability may be quite irrelevant to the kind of work required, which means people with a disability are employed all across the board. Using a DES provider will give you access to a far wider talent pool of people with objective and relevant advice in your selection process. So the DES provider will be there to help you and guide you to get the right person for the job. Next is disability awareness training. Many people are apprehensive about dealing with a new team member with a disability or impairment. Conducting targeted training for your staff can address these questions and help people be confident in working with their new employee. This promotes positive attitudes and teamwork and ensures everyone is treated equally and fairly. Funding is available for awareness training through Job Access. Okay, number 3 is accessibility. Preparing the workplace so that it is accessible to allow the employee to do their job will help with a smooth onboarding process, making sure the person with the disability is involved because they will know how best it works for them. So that's all about any modifications or any changes you need to make in your business. Instead of just making those changes before the person comes along, have that person go through it with you so that they can say, yes, that's going to work for me, or actually, no, that's not going to work for me. We sort of need to do it this way. They would have been through it all before, so they will know how best to do it. So the needs will vary depending on the employee's disability or health condition, of course. Funding is available for these modifications, which we covered in Tapping In Part 1. So once again, if you wanted to go through that, just head over to Tapping In Part 1. And other considerations may include roster, work times and practices, because sometimes, someone in a wheelchair or has limited mobility would probably find it hard to be at work at 7 in the morning, especially if they've got a carer and all those other support needs. So it's good if businesses could take into consideration these things and work out maybe different hours for these people. So you'll just need to look at accommodating their needs, which is no drama. Okay, induction and mentoring. Your new employee should receive an induction and relevant workplace training and ongoing support through a designated buddy or mentor, especially in the early stages of their employment, which is important. So you could have someone at the workplace that is like a buddy or a mentor, and everyone has this anyway when they start a new job. Someone that's been there a long time goes through the job with you, and you do that for a few weeks and then the person's left on their own. So it's just as important for someone with a disability and impairment. Plus they've got their DES provider support person as well. So think about all the reasonable adjustments beforehand and make sure that this person is included in the induction and intake process, as it can be mutually rewarding. Okay, post-placement consultant. Your new employee is connected with a DES provider, and they will have a consultant who is allocated to provide the post-placement support free of charge. In addition to supporting the employee, the consultant is also intended as a go-to person if you have any questions or concerns. So that's for both the employee and the employer to go to this person. Use this consultant as a free resource to you and your team to ensure things run as smoothly as possible over the next few months. So if you have any questions, like I said, for the DES provider, they are happy to help you. They're not just going to find you someone and then that's it, they're not going to help anymore. They'll be there the whole time that that person is with you. So the stress doesn't need to be high. It's not just you having to deal with everything. You've got a support person yourself in your business. And if there's anything else you want to chat to them about involving disability or impairments, then they're there to help you. So that is tapping in part 2. Hopefully everyone understands everything that I've just gone over. It's quite a short one today. But the DES providers are available in all the communities around Australia, so look them up and see who they've got for you. It would be really awesome if we can have some of these people or all of these people employed in all of the businesses all over Australia and all over the world, because everyone deserves to be treated fairly and equally, and everyone deserves to work and provide for themselves and their family. And that's all these people want. They want what everyone else has, and why not? Why can't they have that? There should be no barriers, and DES providers are stopping these barriers and providing these people with the help that they need to find a job. Okay, now I will be turning the video off and letting you guys send me any questions that you might have. So if you want to head over to the website and the chat box, please do. And if you have to go, can you please head over to the website once again and fill out the survey, tapping in part 2. That would be really awesome. And any resources, have a look up on the resource library if you missed anything. Okay, I will be back in 5 minutes. So, welcome back. Thank you for participating today. There doesn't appear to be any questions, which is totally fine. If you do want to send a question later on in the day or in the week, feel free to at any time. Contact us through our website or Facebook page, and we can answer any questions. I hope you all enjoyed today and understood everything. We will be back tonight with another tapping in part 2. So have a good day, and if you know anyone that would like to join this tapping in part 2 to get to know how to place someone in your business through Des Providers, we can definitely help you with that. I hope everyone enjoyed today and have a good rest of your day. I will see you later.